Exactly 1 month ago, a 35-year-old man lost his life after being struck down at Covent Garden on the East Bank. Some 3 weeks ago, a 59-year-old woman was killed while approaching a pedestrian crossing at Nandy Park. Their deaths added to the scores of people who have been killed on the roads. A measure taken to put a dent in the alarming rate are these overhead pedestrian crossings on the East Bank. The question is, have they worked? Mark Culpepper was just 35 when he was struck down on the Covent Garden public road on the East Bank of Demerara on New Year's Day. He remained unidentified for 3 days until police released this sketch. To date, the case has not been solved.
So far, we are trying to get the police to do their investigation. They say currently the matter is sent to DPP for further advice.
Kelsey Worrell, Mr. Culpepper's nephew, spoke with the newsroom describing how the family has been coping since the tragic incident.
Trying to cope with it, the family is here. We are trying to, hold up as much as possible currently.
On a regular day on the East Bank Demerara 4-lane highway, this is the case. Pedestrians making the risky move of running across the road instead of using the overhead pedestrian crossing just nearby. Many have been struck down this way, but despite cautions and encouragement to use the overhead crossing, many ignore them.
You traverse the area and you will see that pedestrians are not using the overhead for some reasons I cannot say, but they are not using it. They are still crossing the road illegally in the path of traffic. Times at the Harbour Bridge, one at the Harbour Bridge, at times the police will enforce it, and you will see they will cross it.
For January alone, there has been an increase in the number of road accidents when compared to last year.
For January this year, compared to last year, we have a 30% increase in fatal accidents and 40% increase in deaths. Last year, the same period, we had 10 fatal to compare with 13 this year, and 10 deaths with 14 this year so far.
These overhead pedestrian crossings were constructed so as to reduce or eliminate accidents along the East Bank corridor. They were constructed at Diamond, Providence, Houston, Peters Hall, Eccles. But the police traffic department has been having a hard time getting pedestrians to use them. But it's not just the use of the pedestrian overpasses. Traffic Chief Senior Superintendent Ramesh Ashram said pedestrians need to observe the general rules of using the roadways.
Persons need to observe the 5 C's. Even we're looking at the 5 CS drivers, but when you look, is all category using the road should observe the 5 C's. Care, courtesy, caution, consideration, common sense. And if we use pedestrians, especially if they use the road with care, even though they are at a pedestrian crossing, which I mentioned on several occasions, they need to observe the curb trail. Even though you're using a crossing, you have to look right, look left, right again, and when it is clear, do so quickly across the road. Some pedestrians believe that the crossing is there, so just they step on it, they could go across. They have to understand vehicles need time to stop.
As the family of Mr. Culpepper continued to mourn his death, his family would not like for others to experience their grief and are urging all to be more careful when using the road.
Well, I think the driver should be more cautious on the road and look out for others, and I think it's going to help. Also, with drivers speeding on the road and something like this happening, I feel the license should be suspended or they should be warned in order to adhere to the rules on the road.